Okay. I'm live, but for some reason, okay. Let's see. Add media source. Okay. And this is why I wanted to kind of test it. For some reason, I'm live right now, and people can see me, but they can't see you. And you're right. They can see my camera. I'm currently being I have a test. Nobody's really watching because I'm live on YouTube. If you go onto YouTube and just put my name in, oh yeah, but it's not on that. Um, no, what I just put Glenn Ryan um, as the YouTube. Put Go into the search box and put my name. Sure, REIHING, and you should see my just my face. Okay, and go ahead and click on that. Yeah, you see me? Okay, so um, that's how I can get onto YouTube via the studio. The OBS software is supposed to be able to allow me, and this is one of the reasons why I want to work on it Monday because um, I want to be able to use the OBS studio in order to like present slides or give animation or do video, that sort of thing. And unfortunately, I didn't have the chance. But the only obstacle for what you want to do, like I said, we overthought it. Um, and I think what we can what we can do is figure out your microphone. It's just going to be your only difficulty is going to be your audio, the microphone, and the thing. And that might not be a problem because it didn't happen all the time. It just happened that one time. We've had other successful presentations where the speaker was able to talk and they didn't have any audio issues. Um, Noisy. Okay. Now, does right now does your one of the things that you could do and is get there, maybe 30. Well, I'm sure you get there 30 minutes before and set everything up and test it and stuff like that. The hmm, the other thing is you get your slide deck and is the presenter going to have any video? Okay. All right. Um, yeah. The the only the only issue that I can see for you then is just your microphone issue. Um, and that's going to have to be resolved pretty much prior to, when you set everything. Does your camera have an internal microphone? Oh, yeah, here, like like my webcam here, not only it has an internal microphone on the camera itself, as you know, along with this. Um, so when I flip on this camera, well, that's where a lot of cameras come in. It's a selling point. So people that are doing vlogging or that they don't have to buy a separate microphone. But see, like with my camera here, the one that I just showed you, that has an internal microphone. But if you go down to the settings on the speaker settings and you open that up, it says select a microphone. I have my Yeti microphone checked. So the internal microphone to my camera here is shut off. And so that might be an issue. And that's one of the things that I want to kind of point out now to you when you set this up, when you're setting it up at the auditorium for your presentation, check your microphone to because that might be if your video camera has an internal microphone, then you'll want to shut that off and put on whatever microphone you need, because that may be the source of your feedback, um, as opposed to, um, oh, that might be the source of your feedback as opposed to the I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to get. I just lost my. I just lost my video from my front my okay. Well, let me go back to my other. When I turned on my can when I turned on yeah. Oh, that's great. I lost all my video. Yeah. Huh? No, I just lost all my video. None of my cameras are working now. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened. Okay. Okay. Huh. I'm wondering because one of my cameras is on, not the one that I showed you when I was making not the one that I showed you. I have actually three cameras. I've got the front camera for my computer. I got the other. Yeah, I've got a second camera, that one I just showed you, and then I got a third camera that is connected to a um, that's connected to an arm that's sitting on my desk as well. But unfortunately, Zoom is not allowing me to connect to any of my cameras. And I'm not sure because it says see settings and it's not allowing me to do any of them. And I don't have an answer to that. Yes. Yep. But I have three cameras and going into the same computer. So I don't, I think that issue for you would be low because you'll probably only be using um, one camera as opposed to me connecting with three. So I wouldn't worry about. I think your biggest issue will probably be your virtual. Your biggest issue will be the audio, and that might not be an issue. Um, I would test out the the best advice I could give you is to test out your equipment um, prior to going in and taking a look at it. Now, where's this facility or what facility is this being held at? Okay, and do they have a guy that does or a woman that does personal tech support for that, or are you kind of on your own? Oh, got gotcha. Okay, right, right. Well then, huh, 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 huh. Oh my God. Oh, geez. Well, you're doing Yeah. Well, you're doing good due diligence by getting there early. That's the best thing for you to do. Get there early, and because if they're not professional, they don't have, you're chasing them down. Then I would set up and test it, a couple hours prior to. So all you have to do is at the time of presentation, you just go in and you do. But and even maybe even run through a slide deck just to make sure that you don't have any issues. Um, no, it's the feedback is caused that the audio that's coming out of the speakers is going back into the microphone, and that's creating a loop, and that's what gives you your thing. So adjusting the adjusting the audio to uh, your Zoom meeting and pushing it out there. Because The only other thing I could suggest you to do is, because what might be happening is to turn off turn off the speaker on your computer and just if you go if you go down to the right lower quadrant, all the way down to, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you? Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. It might. I mean, that's an option that you can try. If you right click that speaker, you'll see a thing saying sound settings, and you go up into sound settings, and it will show you a list of all your speakers. And one of them should say like something like the speakers for my computer are Realtek high definition audio SST, and you'll see something equivalent like that. Um, that is the speakers for your audio for your computer. Right. Actually, it should say choose where to play sound. Do you see anything like that? And it's a speaker. Okay. Not yet. Okay, there we go. System sound. Okay. Can you scroll up? Oh, there you go. You just did. Okay, keep going. Okay. Okay, go down. Yeah, but it's already thing. Go ahead and hit that thing. Choose device for speaking or recording. No, I want to get back to your speaker. Okay, right there. It says speakers, Realtek audio. So that means you only have that. That's one device speaker. Yeah. So that is your device. So what you would do is you would go in, you would hit your sound settings. There should be a setting that will allow you to let's see, turn it off. Oh yeah. I would probably just, yeah, right there, that little X where the speaker is, and there you go. That little X where the speaker was. If you bring your cursor down to where it says volume, yeah, there you go. Where volume, and then the speaker right there. Yeah, that's it. That will shut off your speaker system on your computer. And that's similar to your computer as well, of whatever computer you're using for the in service. Right, right, because they will still be. The only thing you're doing is you're shutting the speaker system off to your computer. You're not shutting the speaker system off to the. You're not shutting the speaker off to the library room, and you're not shutting the speaker system off to your Zoom. You're only shutting the speaker system off to your computer. And so people should be able, because you're not turning, because see, people will get their in the audio input will come from the presenter's microphone into their speaker system wherever they're sitting at, whether it, at sitting at home. So you shutting off your speaker system at the venue should not affect your Zoom presentation. Right, right, yeah, definitely. When's your presentation? 26. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I would do that, and I would also run through a slide deck, in order for you to get that done. Right. Well, and that's too, because Zoom is a little twitchy on their how they present videos. There's a certain way that you have to present the video on Zoom. You have to adjust some settings in order for them, because it's not so much they can see it, but to adjust the audio, Zoom's a little twitchy. And there's some settings that you have to adjust in order for you to be able to, for your audience on the outside to be able to hear the audio from the video. So there's some. Oh. Yeah, yeah. If I could get my cameras to work, it's like, damn it. So I have to figure out as to why my cameras just wound up dropping off on that. I think I've got software issues between the cameras themselves and the software. So with the Microsoft Windows software, I think that's where my problem lies. Yeah. I just changed to 11, and for a while there, everything was running smooth up until today. It was like, oh, okay, I got this figured. But I guess I don't. It is. It's always like that mute button thing. It's like I can't hear you. Turn your mute off. All right. Well, is there anything else that I can help you with? Yeah. Right. It does. It really does. And I would say that this is something that the Democratic Party and the Democratic parties in this state really need to get a handle around in order for, because I mean, right now the Republican parties are just winding up. The Republican parties in the state have a great messaging system, and that's one of the things that I found with doing my channel is that people have a tendency to ignore um, democratic messaging because right. But you're right. We suck at messaging, and we really do. And not only that, do we suck at messaging, but we don't attempt to promote the messaging that we do get. And that to me that's a worse issue because you need to, you know, we don't live in a vacuum. We got to get out of our vacuum. And it's just, I've been beating my head up against this wall for almost a year and a half, a year now, 2 years now. And yeah, I was, well, I was digital services chair uh, last year for a couple months while the Democratic Party in Pinellas County was having some issues with the chair and that there were some internal issues going on. And I wound up getting appointed by the vice chair that was chair at that time while they were working out their issues. And then once the chair got in, I dropped out in order for them to promote their team. And but what I learned throughout that experience was just that democratic messaging is just, you try to promote democratic message and you get ignored, and or else it just goes into a void where nobody sees it. And it's just it's it needs to be, the culture needs to change because the Republicans are very good at it, and they're beating us over the head with it, and we need to beat back. Good. Right. Right. I would encourage I would start with your county group, and I would encourage your county group that, hey, when we send out a message, we want you to send that message out to your people. So I send a message to you, you send a message to them, and hopefully they send a message to other people too. And it kind of blossoms out like that. Because otherwise, yeah, right. They're not. I haven't seen. They say that there's stuff coming out from the Florida Democratic Party, at least from Pinellas County perspective. I'm not seeing it, and it's not being promoted. It's not continuously being promoting. They say they're getting these messages all the time. I'm not seeing it, and neither, and it's not popping up on any of the social media, because as far as I'm concerned, Florida, when the Florida Democratic Party sends out a message, that should be up on every Democratic club and caucuses group throughout the state. And it absolutely, absolutely, and it's not getting done. And I would start actually. I would start at the first. I would start. At the, I would do it. I would tackle it in two ways. One, I would start at the state level with the communications chair, who I've wrote a couple times and have never received a reply back from them. And the I would start at the grassroots level with just Atchula County first and just say, hey, listen, we've got these messages going out. What we want from your members within Atchula County is to, when they get it, to push it out as a share. Because, I've got 300 people on my in my individual Facebook, 314, I think. And if I get a message from the Democratic Party that says, hey, can you share this on your news feed? Then that goes out to 314 people. Whether or not they agree with it, it's up to, and if you put, hey, listen, if you agree, please share. And then, and so you extrapolate that like with 10 people that all have 314 people, and you can get a wider berth there. And that's how I would tackle it. I would tackle in two ways. And I would really bend the ear of the communications director. I think it's kind of poor communications that that when you try to talk to the communications director, they don't answer. Right. What they have a PR department, but I'm not a part of it. And me and the chair of the Pinellas County, I wound up putting her into a grievance committee procedure uh, last year. So I'm not. I'm persona not. I'm persona non grata right now. So until we get some new blood in there, but the thing is, and it wasn't over messaging; it was over something else. But the thing is that whether or not you agree or disagree, or I shouldn't say that, not whether you like or dislike somebody, it's the messaging that's behind it, and you have to push the message, because the Republicans are doing it, and they're doing a pretty damn good job of it. I mean, look at critical race theory. That's my poster child, of how they misinformation that and just weaponized it. And if anybody wants an issue as to the weaponizing of misinformation, you look no further than to how the Republicans have done critical race theory. So that's, I'll get off my soapbox with that one. But yeah. 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 Well, I spoke out at the school board meeting last Tuesday on critical race theory, and the way we're tackling that here is that we go to the school board meeting, and our theme is that history should be taught in its entirety, and that's how we're using that's our messaging, that we're not teaching critical race theory. We believe that history should be taught in its entirety, because they need to know about internment camps. They need to know about blacks being lynched. They need to know about blacks not being treated for syphilis and whining just because they're doing medical experimentation. They and the Trail of Tears and Wounded Knee. The list goes on. And so and actually that came from an Indivisible meeting at Indivisible Safety Harbor, where we were talking about messaging and critical race theory in school board. So here in Pinellas, right, right, yeah, and teach history in its entirety. That's our mean. Teach history in its entirety. And so that's what we're doing here in Pinellas County. But if you agree with that, then we need to get that messaging out to Achula. We need to get it out to Orange County. We need to get it out to Miami Beach, Dade County. We need to get it all over the place. And so that anybody that walks into a school board at at once, they're going to hear the same messaging. History needs to be taught in its entirety, and the more you hear it, the more you'll pound it into their heads. So, well, anyway. Sure. Yeah, and yeah, and and touch base with Mike Hughes too, um, about this too, because the Indivisible meeting here in Pinellas County is conflicts with the Democratic Progressive meeting at the same day, same time. So what I've been doing is I've been toggling. This month I went to the Indivisible meeting. Next month I'm going to go to the Progressive meeting, and the month after back to the Indivisible. So I managed to catch both meetings at least 6 times a year. But I think what we need to do as a messaging is that everybody needs to get on board with the same message. Everybody needs to share the same message to their social media news feeds, and allow that to trickle out, and also to encourage those people that share it on their news feeds, to encourage those people to tell their people to share those messages. You know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I think we need to be in the Democratic Party's face about message, the state Democratic Party's face about messaging. I think because there hasn't been. I mean, although you see the executive committee meetings and the credential, the chair committees meetings, none of these guys. I don't know if they come to a. I have not in the 2 years I've seen nobody from the executive state Democratic Party has come down to Pinellas County for, just to pop their head in for 5 minutes and say, "Hey, we're here. You got any issues you want to talk about?" And I think that's bad. I mean, I don't expect them to go through all six, but they can delegate. You go to these couples, you go to these couples, I'll take these, and you delegate. Yeah, exactly. you can pop your head in. I mean, you're only meeting once every 3 months, so you can find the time to go to a couple, and just pop your head in and say, okay, what do you got for us? So it's like, and I really think we need to be more aggressive with our leadership as to what we want, because stuff, like, for example, the Build Back Better plan, 70% of America's on the original plan. I did a episode on that. 70% of American Democrats were for that, yet you heard nothing about it from the state party. I wound up doing that's why I did my episode on it, because I wanted to show people what was in it, how it was funded, and what the opposition was. And I heard squat from the Democratic Party in the state about it, and they just, I don't know what they do up there. It's like, what are you doing? But whatever it is, it ain't working, because we lost 27 out of 32 elections in this state. So whatever you're doing it wrong. So well, I think I think that stifles knowledge, because if I attend the county party's executive board meeting, because as far as I'm concerned, the executive board meeting is more important than the county's general meeting, because that's where the sausage gets made. And I think that by not allowing people to get into, by cutting off Zoom and having to actually physically go there, you cut off that access to that knowledge of what's going on in there. And I'm a big believer. That's why I'm a big believer that all our meetings now should be hybrid. All meetings across the state, all should be hybrid. So if I want to come over to your meeting, in fact, actually, this is what I'm doing with my channel. I want to come over to your meeting and say, hey, I'm Glenn Ryan. I run a Democratic Progressive blog called Tampa Bay Video Citizen. Please look at my stuff and please share it. And that's it. That's my pitch. If you agree with it, please share it. If you don't agree with it, then don't share it. But at least, take a look at it. And because knowledge is power. But I think that by them not going to Zoom meetings anymore, you cut off that ability to gain that knowledge. If you want to know what's going on, well, you better show up to the meetings, which I think and it's something that I'm going to mention at the next meeting to find out if that's true or not, because yeah. Absolutely. I agree 100% on that. Exactly. And a lot of people are like single parents or something like that. They got childcare issues, they've got work issues, they've got also, so hybrid meetings, having hybrid meetings is great. It's like you can still attend the meeting, but you do it from your phone, So. Right. Well, and I would even, yeah, I would even, yeah, well, I would even tone them down. If they saying that's the cost, how much is it? What cost are we talking about? What's the actual cost? Get some numbers. Oh, oh, right. Well, and not only that, but you could even look at different platforms. I mean, Zoom doesn't have to be the thing, although be all know all. You could say you could check in on Facebook and do your stuff through Facebook. You still get your commenting and just have some. All you need is a moderator to comment to moderate the thing. So you can look in Facebook. You can actually look into YouTube as well too. You know, so yeah, right. I'm there. I looked at my calendar and I didn't see what time is your meeting on the 26th? 11 a.m. What's the address? Okay, hang on for a minute. Gainesville Public. Let's see. Headquarter Library. Let's see. Is that on East University Avenue? Is that the one? Okay. Let's see here. Directions. Okay. It's 2.5 hours. And it's 11 o'clock in the morning. 7, 11. You know, I looked at my schedule. Something's about the 26th sticks into my mind that I've got something, but I can't. I looked at my calendar and I didn't see anything. I just might come up for that. What time does? Let's see. What time does this place open here? Hours. It opens at 9. Okay. Okay, so I'd have to get there. See, I'd have to leave here. It's 2.5. So it opens at 9. If I left here about 6, that should get me there. Okay. If I don't have anything cooking, and I can't promise, I'm not promising anything, but if I don't have anything cooking, I'm going to come up. And okay. Well, I want, yeah, I gotta get. It's gonna take me 3 hours just to get past Tampa. But, yeah, but no, yeah, if I no promises, but besides that, I want to come up there early enough to help you with the setup. So if you have some, if you have some issues, okay, okay. Right. And actually do that because what I'll do is I'll put it in my Tampa Bay Video Citizen thing as I'll create an ad saying pretty much we're working on messaging. We feel that it's important to have events uh, across the state being advertised. And here's an event that's coming up, and boom. And that way well, it goes back to messaging. We have to support each other in our messaging because it's the only way that we're going to beat the Republicans. Well, one of the only ways. It's one way of beating the Republicans. So, so I will probably see you on the 26th. I like Krispy Kreme, the cream filled. uh, and yeah, so if nothing's happening, and I'll tell you what, I'll text you. I'll text you the day before if I'm coming up, so you'll know. Um, Okay, I will. I don't know if I want to get up. Yeah, we can make a party of it. All right. Well, hey, it was good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I think it's the. I think it's the. I think it's God. There you go. Uh, oh, it was good. Yeah, great talking to you. Take care. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened where I dropped off all three of my cameras. Man, just
Yeah,
one camera was
I lost you at what, it was working fine, and next thing I know, you went to your picture where you're, putting your number.
Yeah.
That's a bad picture.
No. It's like, God damn.
It's the 40-minute limit.
I've got to figure out why I did that. Well, I think it's I've got software
For the system.
Yeah, well, some of the camera software might conflict with the other camera software. So when it does that, the computer just shuts it down. So actually, I'll tell you what, let me shut off the computer and I'll turn it back on.
Sure. Turn it off, turn it on. Yeah.
See if it reformats.
Oh, Lord.
Nice lady.